Greetings, everybody. I had gone through probably about 2 weeks ago because people had asked me about the difference between the new editions and the old, the first editions with the apples. So it's apples versus people. And I had made kind of a video comparing the two, and it was just way too long to upload like I wanted it to. So I'm going through and I'm going to do short little videos, periscopes, about the difference between each of the books, and I will upload them separately. So if you were looking for specific information about the differences between the first edition and the second editions, this will give you a lot of specific information on the differences. So first of all, let's talk about some of the things that are going to be the same. In the first edition, one of the things that was very popular were the product guidelines. And you'll remember this particular one, this is a page out of the first edition. And the product guidelines are very important when you start using menus because they save you time. When the children want to go through and they want to create a PowerPoint, or they want to create a play, or they want to do those types of things, you don't have to constantly re-explain what that product is. This is our new second edition, and you will find that the product guidelines are also contained in the second edition. One small change is the font has changed a little bit. It's a little bit bigger, but you still have 9 per page. The rubric that was found in the first one has been repeated in this one. So the rubric has been changed a little bit in the sense that it's a little bit more student friendly, but you still have the rubrics. You still have the product guidelines. The majority of the front material is all going to be what you expect it to be. As a peek at the table of contents, let's look at some of the things that are new and different. This particular table of contents, I know it isn't anything fancy, but this is a list of all of the menus that are found in the new second edition. Anything that has a purple dot in front of it is a brand new menu. This particular book has 12 brand new topics and 16 that have been revamped. Every single menu in the book has been touched, tweaked, or changed in one way or another. So if you're worried and saying, hey, is it going to be exactly the same as the original? It most definitely is not. So new topics that you're going to see in the second edition, you're going to find a menu for characterization, settings and plots. You're going to find one for independent reading. You're going to find informational text, parts of speech, and then there's an entire chapter that's been added brand new on writing. People were asking about that. They said, hey, don't you have something specifically about the writing process, about the different types of writing? At that point, I didn't, because the writing was all incorporated in the products that were included in the menus. But I understand that some people need to teach the writing process distinctly separate and the different types of writing. So you're going to find all brand new menus on all of those different types of writing. The ones that remain, you will see here. You will notice, if you're familiar with the original book, that all of the novel menus have been removed. That's because there's the new series that had come out called Literature for Every Learner. And it is specifically designed with menus for novels or menus with stories. So it's a whole bunch, it's a 3-menu series. It has grades 3 through 5, 6 through 8, 9 through 12. I probably should have grabbed some of those off my shelf for you. But it has all of the different menus specific for novels. So the language arts book does not have any specific novels anymore. It is specific to genres. That way you can use it with any book or any novel that you have that might fit within one of these different genres. So this is what our table of contents looks like. You can see that there's some new ones. The old ones that are here have been revamped, and I've marked a few to kind of show you some of the different changes that have taken place in the menus between the two books. And I apologize, I have to do a little bit of flipping to do this. I'm going to keep my original on the left, the new on the right, so that you can kind of see what it is that we're talking about. And we're going to look at alphabet books first. When the revamping happened, it is completely possible that the menu kept the same format, meaning on the left is the original. We had a tic-tac-toe for alphabet books, and you'll see we have the tic-tac-toe on the right for the new one as well. However, the tasks themselves have changed. For example, here, In the bottom corner, it says create an ABC theme board game, your question activities card should have a rhyming theme. Okay. You will notice here, this is very similar, but it's changed. So I have my alphabet themed, okay, and I have an experience. I talk to them and say, here's what I really want it to be. So I'm a little bit more specific. I was finding that sometimes the children would take the tasks, and although I want them to be open-ended enough that they can make it their own, sometimes with the open-endedness, the children would take the path of least resistance. And I really want to make sure that we're getting quality products and that it's going in the direction it needs to go. So what used to be a little bit more basic has now become a little bit more defined. This one says create your own book, and it talks about something we enjoy in science and create an alphabet book. And then here I have an alphabet, but I've changed it. And now we're going to do, and you'll notice it's completely in a different place. This one, again, science, but it's going to be a scrapbook, and we're going to have information and pictures. So sometimes products have changed, sometimes the level of complexity has changed, but every single menu in the book has been revamped this way. So sometimes we will have the same format. Other times, I've completely changed the format depending on what the topic is. For example, for nonfiction, in the original book, it was a tic-tac-toe menu. This worked very effectively, but when I started looking at the objectives, I realized it really needed, and I know that print looks small, it's because I'm holding it up and it's a long ways away. I realized that we really needed some more specificity for the menu. So this is a brand new menu format for the grades 3 through 5 books. I've used it in some of my other books, but it's called, this one is a 2-topic list. And what we have is I have a list of items, they're all points, but it's around a certain topic. So at the top of the menu, I have tasks for using the nonfiction books, and at the bottom, I have for writing them. And this type of list menu is designed in a way that the children have to pick products or tasks from each section. That way I know that they're getting something to do with using the books and something to do with writing. But in order for them to meet their goal of 100, let's say that they really want to delve into writing their own stuff. That's completely fine. They only have to pick one from up here, but they have to have at least one so that I know that they're using the books, and then everything else can focus on them writing. If I have other children who are like, you know what, I'd much rather do more research-based things, they can spend the majority of their time at the top, but then they're going to be required to write at least one thing. So when I redid some of the menus, sometimes the format stayed the same, but the tasks changed or were altered or edited or added. Sometimes I completely changed the entire format so that it would go from a tic-tac-toe to a list menu. So the formats may well have changed. Also, no matter whether, no matter whether the no matter whether the format or the tasks have changed, the objectives that were used, most of them remain the same. It's just everything's kind of been updated. So if you go through, and again, if you wonder and say, hey, how different is the new book going to be from the old one? If you love the old one, the new one, all the technology has been updated. All of the menus have been updated to meet the objectives, whether we're talking about the national standards, Common Core, whether we're talking about here in Texas, some of our local standards, but all of them have been updated to be better aligned with all of that, as well as incorporate some of the interests the students seem to have now. If you have additional questions on the differences between these two books, feel free to contact me. My email, of course, is Lori, first name, at giftedconsultant.com. You can also post, I'll post these on my Facebook page. You're welcome to post any questions there. I'm happy to show you or talk to you about any of the different menus that are in here or any additional information on the differences. But I do hope that this little video kind of helps specifically for language arts. I am going to do a video like this for the other 3 topics to kind of go through the table of contents, let you see some of the differences. Thanks, and I hope you have a great day.